Welcome back. In this session on cheating, we're particularly targeting how do you approach requests from your partner that want to get you involved in either swinging parties or fantasies or bringing a third person into a relationship. How do you deal with that situation? So, Pamela, first up, how common is it for one partner to request bringing a third person into a relationship?
It's not an uncommon request. For some people, it is their ultimate fantasy. And if sometimes fantasies are great when they're in our mind and they're safe in our mind, but when we decide to act on a fantasy, we have to be really careful with the boundaries and where we go with our partner and discuss this with our partner and how far the two of us are prepared to take this fantasy.
How do they start, these requests for, sweetie, can we go to a swingers party or, da-da-da-da-da? How does that notion start? What is that?
Well, it can be just like that.
Okay.
Babe, have you ever thought about a swingers party? What do you think about that? And your partner go, no way. And then the partner might go, oh, what a shame. I'd love to do that. And then you've automatically heard from the partner that there's a no way. So you have to take that on board and actively hear what they have said and say, okay, well, I'm hearing that you've actually said no way straight away. Is there any way that you can think about that? Or are you really adamant that you don't want to do this?
Is acting out a fantasy as simple as it sounds, or is there more to it than that?
There's more to it than just simply acting out. Because if it was just simply acting out, it would be really easy. I mean like easy as in not becoming too emotionally involved here. If we bring in a third party as, say, a fantasy, quite often we might be seeing our partner with that third party, and what our partner is doing with that third party, like kissing and cuddling and stroking and caressing and sexually turning
Involved.
them on,
Yeah.
you might think to yourself, because you're not prepared, you're thinking, oh my God, that's what they do to me. I'm feeling really, I thought that was between the two of us.
So it's not so special anymore.
No, and you can become quite confronted by this aspect
I think this
of
is
watching your partner turn on another person.
And I think, Pamela, the key issue in this little session is that that's what everybody wants to know. Everybody, I think, if they haven't already done it, they want to do it, but they don't realize the ramifications mentally and emotionally of going down this passageway.
Exactly. And the ramifications can be devastating for some people. Or if you both go into this fantasy knowing that it is purely acting out and you've got a third person in, and being able to delineate your emotions,
Right.
separate your emotions,
Sure.
and know that it's purely a fantasy, and try and not let yourself become jealous or upset.
Well, I think that's the almost asking the impossibility, to ask emotional human beings to venture into something and say, oh, let's do this, but let's not get emotional about it. People need to, I don't know, put on their very special hats if they're going to do this.
And some people do put on their very special hats, and they can do that.
Ah, there you are.
And that can come to another area of where couples or singles can go to swingers parties.
Right.
Or, and have sex with other people and have non-emotional connection with somebody.
I just had an image come to mind. Would this be how prostitutes, professional prostitutes, view sex? It's just a job.
It's a job. And I'm there specifically for that reason, sex.
Should things like fantasies, swingers parties, things like that, should they become a regular occurrence in a relationship, healthy relationship?
Should is a big word.
Sorry, well, don't use my word.
No.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that, if you decide to embark on this behaviour within the relationship, make sure that you're both on the same page here, you both agree that you both want to do this, and understand that you don't do this behaviour without the other partner knowing.
Right. Well, that would be clearly cheating if the other person doesn't know. But I know what you're saying. You're saying that it can't be one partner persuading another partner. It has to be both saying, yes, let's do this.
Consensual, yes.
So what are the pros and cons, simply, of this situation? Are there pros and cons?
Well, for some people, from couples that I've heard, the pros are that they're having a bit of fun, that they're actually just enjoying, they really enjoy sex, and that they're out there just having a bit of fun. They're not taking it all that seriously. The cons are, I think, what we've sort of mentioned before about your emotions getting in the way and becoming hurt emotionally, and jealousies, and just seeing your partner in a different aspect can be quite confronting. And anything like this is very confronting.
All right, let's take it the next stage. Both partners have been doing this for a while, but what happens when one partner wants to stop and the other partner wants to continue?
Unfortunately, that can be a bit of an issue. One partner might just be over it, they've done it, they've fulfilled their fantasy, they've, think, okay, been there, done that, I just really would like just to go back to just the two of us now, but the other person still is enjoying that aspect. And again, you have to communicate this with each other, and if you're open, hopefully you're open to hearing what each other has to say and taking that on board. But if you come at us to a standstill or saying, well, I really want to do this, but you don't want me to, you're heading into
Dangerous territory.
Dangerous territory, yeah.
All right, let's talk about love. I think a huge insecurity that many people would have is, what are the chances of my partner falling in love with someone else during one of these fantasy escapades?
That can happen because sometimes these swingers groups, there are many types of groups. There are big groups, there are private clubs, and quite often in the private clubs you get the same people, and over time you get to know different people, and relationships can develop, even though they're sexual. But over time, over a few years, people can get to know each other on a different level, get to like each other, and it can develop into something more. And I have had partners separate over this because they have actually fallen in love with somebody that they have met.
Right. And I guess my last question in this session is safe sex. Where and does that play a role in this type of activity at all? Always practice safe sex. Most of these places, if you go to them or you're acting out a fantasy between the three of you or whatever you've decided, have baskets of condoms around, and that they're there, and you're not allowed to participate unless there's safe sex practices taking place. Right. And you'd be sort of putting a gun to your own head, wouldn't you, if you decided that I'm not going to use condoms. You're playing Russian roulette for any type of sexually transmitted infection. Absolutely. Thank you, Pamela. Well, that's the end of session 2. In session 3, Pamela is going to give us an insight how to create great communication within your relationship. So no matter what issue comes up, you'll have the tools to deal with it.